India's pharmaceutical industry is expanding into the fast-growing global market of weight loss drugs. And that's after the patent protection ended in India for semaglutide. That is the active ingredient in blockbuster treatments like Ozempic and Wegovy. And analysts say that the surge in lower-cost generics could improve access for millions of patients and potentially drive down prices worldwide. But concerns remain about appropriate use and long-term effects. Ishan Garg reports for CNA from New Delhi.
For IT engineer Shankari Roy, a recent diagnosis of high blood sugar sparked a debate at home. The 53-year-old considered drugs like Ozempic and Wegovy, but the doses, she said, were costing up to $400 a month and proved a deal breaker. Now that may be changing, and fast. Indian pharma companies have begun rolling out generic versions of semaglutide, cutting treatment costs by up to 70% in some cases. Semaglutide belongs to the GLP-1 class of medicines that mimic a hormone, which regulates blood glucose levels and appetite.
If I have like 1 dose or 2 doses, maybe it would help and I can see some quick benefit out of it. So that then I can follow the rituals or maybe next course of action.
Her son, though, is concerned about the safety of these drugs.
You don't know how it will map out in your body or if it has long-term effects, which is something that I worry about.
Their situation reflects a wider issue in India. The country is grappling with what doctors call a diabesity crisis, a combination of diabetes and obesity fueled by unhealthy diets, ultra-processed foods, and sedentary lifestyles. About 1 in 4 Indians, that's more than 300 million people, are estimated to be overweight or obese, and nearly 90 million Indians are said to be living with diabetes. But access to GLP-1 therapies have been limited largely due to high costs. At his clinic, Dr. Manuj Sondhi has treated dozens of such patients. He says the demand has surged since the cheaper drugs entered the market. Some, he says, are seeking weight loss for cosmetic reasons, but the real benefit, he argues, could be in preventing more serious disease.
Because obesity itself is a risk factor for a lot of metabolic issues, like it can give you dyslipidemia, increase your cholesterol, it can increase your cardiac risk, it can increase chances of hypertension and diabetes. So treating obesity, especially patients, in those patients whose BMI is more than 35, who have grade 2 obesity, grade 3 obesity, these medications are going to be very useful.
And the rush to fulfill this demand is already apparent. At least half a dozen Indian drug makers have launched generic semaglutide products. From online platforms to neighborhood pharmacies like these, GLP-1 medicines are becoming widely available and far more affordable. That has prompted India's drug regulator to step up inspections to prevent unauthorized sale. The Health Ministry is warning that using these medicines without proper medical supervision could lead to serious adverse effects and related health risks. The rapid rollout of generics, analysts say, could drive down prices worldwide and be a lifeline for those nations where obesity is rising but treatment remains unaffordable. The global obesity market is estimated to be worth over $100 billion by the end of this decade, and Indian pharma companies are positioning themselves to grab a share of that pie.
It's going to be Indian companies manufacturing these more and at an exponential rate, and should be in a position to supply to world at large, because quality is also going to be a determined factor.
For patients like Shankari Roy, these drugs are now within reach, but whether to use them may depend on long-term safety and efficacy. For CNA, I'm Ishan Garg in New Delhi.